Up next, we have Lisa Harris, who is an author, poet, speaker, the founder of Fashion Meets Poetry, and the visionary behind the brand Unveiled Beauty. With Unveiled Beauty, Lisa has created multiple platforms for everyday women to share her story of courage and strength. She launched her work in the women's empowerment space in 2017 after publishing her first book, Unveiled Beauty, Handwritten Stories From a Poetic Heart. Lisa previously spent over 18 years in corporate retail buying strategy and product development for Fortune 500 companies. Today, her goal is to provide opportunities for women to be heard and to demonstrate their beauty and bravery. More details and future events can be found at fashionmeetspoetry.com, including one this Thursday at Intelligent Nutrients on East Hennepin Avenue. Lisa Harris.
It's amazing. When I was in corporate America, I could walk around in heels all day long, and I used to say that I could actually run in them, and now that I've been on my own, it's a little bit harder. So I was a little worried I was gonna fall over there. Well above the city lights, in a lonely high-rise building, something began brewing deep inside of me a little over 8 years ago. It was one of those frigid nights where the wintry wind thrashes at your face, chilling you to the core. However, on that particular night, I was one of the lucky few sitting beneath the glow of the fluorescent lights in the warmth of my office. Looking around, the lights began to flicker as the janitor's footsteps turned the corner towards my cubicle. She was an older immigrant with a thick accent who I'd come to welcome on those late nights. She greeted me as she emptied my daily garbage, the circular file that housed all my rework, mistakes, and revised strategies. Something about her reminded me of family. On occasion, I saw my grandfather's eyes or my grandmother's smile during our brief encounters in this overeducated building. As a first-generation college-educated woman and a daughter of an immigrant mother from the Philippines and a Caucasian father with Native American roots, I was proud of the career I built in those four walls. However, on that cold night, I was reminded that I was more than the granddaughter of Filipino immigrants. I was more than my father's firstborn child. And still, I was more than an ambitious corporate working woman. I was a dedicated wife and a mother of 2 young children. As a businesswoman, I knew that a company was not obligated to ensure my success or my happiness. Their primary focus was on their ROI, and I was just one of many parts of a business model yielding billions of dollars in annual revenue. However, after investing over a decade of my life to corporate America, the question remained, what about the woman, the mother? Did they know my son just celebrated his 2nd birthday and that my daughter is a feisty 4-year-old testing her independence and making her way through preschool? For the first time, I began asking, what about me? Sitting on the 19th floor in the taller of our 2 buildings, where hundreds of driven executives climb the corporate jungle gym every day, I felt alone. And with the demands of parenting, I was struggling to keep up. Lately, it seemed like every day, somewhere between the first cup of coffee and reforecasting sales trends, I asked myself, why? Isn't this what I've always wanted? Isn't this the career that I've worked so hard to achieve in an industry I loved? Isn't it my responsibility to succeed not only for myself, but also as a way of paying back my grandparents for all they sacrificed? On this evening, as I prepared for a forthcoming international trip, I missed the scent of my children. And I desperately did not want to leave them behind at daycare earlier that morning. Those feelings, they lingered all day in the stagnant office air and left me with a heavy heart. These are my children, and I had all intentions of raising them. But was I? All of these emotions hit me like an avalanche on this particular evening and began to snowball quickly over the next few months. It was the spring of 2010 when I chose to walk away from that building. A difficult decision, but a crucial one. Needless to say, the next 18 months didn't play out as I had anticipated. But quite frankly, I'm not sure what I expected. I knew this change was necessary, but being a working career mom is all I had ever known. It was a label I wore with pride, front and center, in flashing neon lights for the whole world to see. And now, here I was, empty-handed, without my business cards and fancy title, as I sat at home, redecorating our house, taking care of the kids, lost and confused. I kept wondering, if I was no longer a businesswoman, who was I? Who would I become? And now, the next few chapters in life would test me and ultimately help to redefine me. During this fragile transitional period, I moved slowly through 3 unforeseen emotional states, beginning with the waves of pure relaxation to the depths of depression to months of soul searching. In the end, I eventually made the choice to re-enter corporate America, but this time it was on my terms, with flexibility and balance. Heading back to work was important to me. However, it was those 18 months at home that changed me. Through that experience, a new Lisa emerged. This Lisa knew how to tap into her inner warrior to emerge stronger and more confident. This Lisa didn't require titles or labels. In those 18 months, I gifted myself something special. A gift I had denied myself for over 15 years. I gave myself the gift of poetry. In between redecorating, potty training my son, learning the alphabet with my daughter, and starting a new job, I began writing poetry again. The funny thing is, as I sit here once writing this very sentence, reading it, and now saying it aloud, I can almost feel it breathing life back into me all over again. This was the real me, a version of myself that had ceased to exist as the responsibilities of family and career had taken over my life. Creative writing was a forgotten side of me, like the B-side of an old 45 vinyl record that the DJ neglects to play. I, too, like the DJ, had abandoned the B-side of who I was. Breathing life back into the writer within me was essential. I needed her, and I recognized her aching desire to be freed and to be heard. A journey that began late one night in a lonely high-rise building made another surprising turn as I approached my 39th birthday. I found beauty in age and recognized for the first time that my bravery spoke volumes. I was now ready to share my poetry with the world. Today, I stand before you with a new appreciation for the journey and the woman I have become. A mother, a wife, an entrepreneur, a published author, and a poet. Let me introduce you to my B-side of that old 45 vinyl record, because she's definitely worth knowing. Thank you.